The NEPSAC girls quarterfinals are behind us. I'm Evan Marinofsky from New England Hockey Journal alongside Patrick Donnelly, and we're going to talk girls Elite Eight, and then we're going to get into the large school and small school quarterfinal games. We're doing this on Wednesday night. It's late, but we're here to give you the takes and our opinions and reaction to what's happened tonight or Wednesday night, excuse me. So just to run through real quick, Nobles advances 4-3 win over St. Paul's. Loomis advances a 1-0 win over Kent. Andover advances 4-0 win over Deerfield. Williston advances big 8-1 win over Tabor. You like flew to Nobles to watch the third period because that was a close game. Let's start there. What did you think of that matchup?
Yeah, so Noble St. Paul's was the only game in the Elite Eight without like a publicly, at least that I could find, available stream. I
That
see
should
there.
change. That should be different, but that's okay.
Yes. Um, Down 1-0 after the first, like holy crap. If I'm not there and there's like no way to see it aside from like Noble's Twitter, and St. Paul's pulled off an upset, like we're really going to be kicking ourselves. So I made it for the third period, and it was a hell of a period. It was such a great period of hockey, back and forth. Olivia Maffeo had a hat trick. Just I had her as my top front runner for Noble's MVP if they go all the way, and certainly came out firing tonight. That's one of my biggest takeaways is that some of the games I've seen Nobles this year, like when they've kind of needed her the most, and obviously, like, second year in a row leading them in scoring, like, of course, she's going to lead the way for them. But she's just finds ways to take over games when they need it. Just a big game player. No two ways about it. And one of like the insane stats too was this is the first time all season Nobles has let up more than 3 goals,
Really? Oh my
which is
God.
a bonkers stat. And even in like the face of that, I thought Anya Zukowska played really well. She like biggest save of the night was on Cami Bell on a penalty shot. Looked like Bell had it. Maybe if she had lifted it a little more, obviously easy for me to say. I'm just sitting here watching it. But it was a great save by Zukowska. Stretched out the right pad, stuffed it. Cami Bell for St. Paul's, like I wrote that, she would have to be one of the main authors if St. Paul's wanted to write an upset. And she had a minute till the very end. They traded third period goals. Maud Neiman cut it to 3-2. Nobles goes up 4-2. Bell's jams one in on the power play, and they're right there. She had plenty of chances for herself and others, but St. Paul's couldn't pull it off at the end.
I think it's incredibly impressive that St. Paul's was there, an 8 seed. You're going up against Nobles and their barn and Reesers last year. I think that is, to me, one of the biggest stories. And I think, it's going to be interesting. Nobles now plays Loomis. You wonder if Loomis kind of says, oh, maybe Nobles is beatable now in a way that maybe they weren't thought of to be beatable before. I know they've had some ties recently.
Yeah,
Um, and
especially
yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on that.
especially the way the first two games with St. Paul's went earlier this season was 4-0 and 6-1, and for this one to kind of be 4-3 back and forth the whole way, where the previous two Nobles kind of just completely suffocated them. And then you look at Loomis, where they played Nobles, I think, in their second game of the season. It was a 3-0 loss. I didn't think they had the best game. They did a good job of keeping Nobles to the outside, but Nobles sort of had their game plan that they had all season, which was cashing in on dirty goals, creating traffic, forechecking. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
So the rest of the Elite Eight, I mean, we're gonna see Nobles Loomis on Saturday, Andover Williston. I imagine Andover Williston is the game you have circled as kind of the must-see marquee matchup of those two.
Oh, how could it not? It's a rematch of last year's championship, and Andover got some revenge last week or a couple weeks ago with 3-0. It was a 3-0 win, I believe. But round three for all the marbles. So this will be really exciting. Andover sort of did what they've been doing against Deerfield, who I'm a little surprised it was 4-0 against Deerfield, but Deerfield had a tough finish to the season. They've gone pretty quiet offensively over the last few weeks. Just kind of getting cold at the wrong time. Andover's obviously been red hot at the perfect time. So kind of just a perfect storm there for Andover. Sarah Powers with a multi-goal game. Peyton Kennedy was awesome. They didn't really give Deerfield much. And then you look at Williston, who, by my count on their stream, had 15 skaters. I could have miscounted, but still looked like they were a little shorthanded. I didn't see Mia Daly out there, so assume she was unavailable. And you had Violet Carroll back on the top line. You had a top line of Monique Lyons, Nora Curtis, and Violet Carroll that had over 150 points combined last season, reunited, and did not miss a beat whatsoever. They
No,
dominated.
clearly.
Yeah, 8-1. Monique Lyons had two. She could have had a hat trick. I think three assists. She set up both of Carroll's goals, had another assist in the third, I believe. Just flat out dominance from, Williston, which I said in like the biggest thing for them, especially against Tabor, was just even if they're shorthanded, no matter how shorthanded they are, as long as their 4 or 5 heavy hitters are in the lineup, it's hard to count them out at all. And that's what we saw tonight. So
Agreed.
yeah, it'll just be. I think it's just on a collision course between those two. Andover is the unstoppable force, and Williston's the immovable object.
Yes, and they're meeting in the semis instead of the finals. I think that was something, again, they were there last year, something we thought maybe would happen this year. In the large and small schools, so the number 1 and 2 seeds in both fields get the bye. Large school, BB&N beats Thayer 3-2. Dexter beats Exeter 4-0. In the small school, Millbrook beats Tilton 2-1. But then the big upset, or the only upset, was Rivers beats Frederick Gunn in overtime 4-3. You predicted that, didn't you?
I did. I'm 7 for 8 on my picks. The only one I didn't get was Millbrook and Tilton. Tilton lost 2-1. I had Rivers and Gunn. I think I had Rivers maybe 2-1. But obviously, we're not keeping score here, or at least as far as the exact scores go. I tuned into that live stream just in time for the overtime winner. And it was a great play, great keeping at the blue line, great backhand forehand finish in tight. So obviously, congrats to Rivers. That was a heck of a game that I was sad to miss it.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the matchups? You got BB&N and Choate, Dexter, Westminster in the large. Small school, you have Groton and Millbrook, and now New Hampton, instead of playing Gunn, will play number 6 Rivers. Any big things to watch in those 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing for obviously BB&N, we've sort of talked about is, you know, getting hot like Andover was and or Andover is and Tabor kind of was going in. They got Hannah Weyerhaeuser back from injury, and she's been fantastic since coming back. Like that's potential. I mean, you look up X Factor in the dictionary, like it's probably right there. And so it could be a bit of a perfect storm for them against Choate, who idle. You don't know how they come out after, some downtime. But other than that, it's kind of played out kind of how I expected. I'll be interested to see if Rivers can give New Hampton a scare, especially, like we talked about on the boys' side, super young team where they're nothing to lose at all. So I'm really interested to see that matchup in the small school. And Millbrook beat Groton earlier this season for the Harrington tournament, not the Harrington, the Watkins tournament trophy at Cushing. So that will be an interesting rematch.
I agree. There's gonna be a lot. We got a lot coming, especially in the girls' side. Saturday, Sunday. Before then, we'll have more predictions, so a chance to continue. If you got to retire from predictions now, it's just like
I
I'm
know.
going 7 for 8, and that's it.
Hey,
Uh,
beginner's luck. They don't ask how.
exactly. They don't ask how. But anyways, that's Patrick Donnelly. I'm Evan Marinofsky. We'll have more coverage at New England Hockey Journal.